Hi Bruins and Highlanders, welcome back to Reading Workshop. Yesterday we learned that it is very important to pay attention to not just the main character but also all of the characters. Today I want to teach you that it is also important to reread so that you can learn more about the characters. Learning more about the characters is very similar to meeting new friends and new people in real life. For example, when I first met Ms. Vasquez, I didn't know a lot of things about her. I had to go back and keep talking to her and getting to know her better so that I could learn new things about her. I learned that Ms. Vasquez would come every day with a cold coffee. And that's when I realized that she probably doesn't like hot coffee as much as she loves cold coffee. I bet if you stop and think, there are many things that you learned about me that you didn't know when you first met me. I bet that some of you found out that I like camping, that I put ketchup on everything, that I love donuts after you got to know me and we spent some time together. So today we are going to practice going back and learning more about the characters. Let's go back to our book, Mr. Putter and Tabby, and find out more about these characters so that we could get to know them more and more. We are going to go back to chapter 1, and as we are reading, we're going to stop and we're going to ask ourselves two questions. We are going to ask ourselves, what did I notice? And we're also going to ask ourselves, what did I learn? What are we learning about these characters that we didn't know or didn't notice the first time that we read? Chapter 1, Baseball. Mr. Putter and his fine cat Tabby love to nap in the summertime. They love napping in the garden. They love napping on the porch. They love napping in the car. Let's stop and ask ourselves, what are we noticing and what are we learning? I noticed that they love to nap anywhere, even in the car. I don't think I can nap in the car. It'll probably get a little too hot in there. I learned that maybe they nap so much because Mr. Putter is a little bit older and he needs his rest. Let's continue reading and stopping to notice and learn more about these characters. It seems like we nap all the time, Mr. Putter said to Tabby one day. Tabby was old and her frisky days were over. She loved napping. I think we need a sport, said Mr. Putter. Tabby opened one eye. I think we need baseball, said Mr. Putter. Tabby opened the other eye. I wonder where my old mitt is, said Mr. Putter. He headed to the basement. Tabby was wide awake now. There is a lot going on in this picture. Let's stop and notice things from the text and also from the pictures to see if we find out more about Mr. Putter or Tabby. Take a close look. What do you notice? Go ahead and start your sentence with, I notice. I heard some of you say, I noticed that there's skates. I noticed that there's a bike, a bowling ball, and a mitt. What does that tell us about the character? What does that tell us about Mr. Putter? I learned, go ahead and try that sentence. I learned that Mr. Putter seems to be a sporty person. That's not told in the text, but by looking at the illustration, by looking at the picture, I can tell that Mr. Putter probably likes sports a lot because he has different sports gear down in the basement. But I also learned that probably Mr. Putter has not used these sports gear in a long time because it's in the basement. So maybe he doesn't use it quite often, but maybe he did in the past. Let's go one more page and stop and notice what else we could learn about these characters. Chapter 2, the team. Mr. Putter found his mitt. Now all we need is a team, he told Tabby. Mr. Putter called his friend and neighbor, Mrs. Teaberry. Let's stop and notice, and now it's going to be your turn. Stop and notice one thing and start your sentence with I notice. I notice that there is pictures of Tabby. I also notice that there is a calendar with baseball on it. That tells me and that helps me learn that Mr. Tabby really likes sports because it's even on his calendar. That also tells me that he loves Tabby because when you put pictures in frames and put them around the house, that means that you really like that person or really enjoy being with them. So remember, today and every day, when you are reading, make sure you go back to reread so that you can find out more about these characters. You can stop and ask yourself, what do I notice about these characters? And what am I learning? Sometimes that learning doesn't happen from the words. It comes from the pictures and from you asking yourself, what else can I tell from the text and the pictures together? Now it's your turn. Go off into your books and get to know your characters even more. Off you go.